Hi, Dennis Weiss. Welcome to our town at Great Plains Theater. We have Patty Mayhew, and we're doing one of my favorite things in the world, which is just to grab somebody out of their office as we go by and say, we're going to talk about what you're doing that's great for the world. That way you don't have time to get nervous.
All right. I'm getting used to this impromptu stuff around here, so it's good practice.
So, Great Plains Theater, Patty Mayhew, Executive Director. You've got battle scars and battle knowledge and everything by now, right, at Great Plains Theater?
There are a few battle scars. You know, Dennis, this started off as a 60-day gig.
I thought
and because there's that word interim in front of my title right now. Because I was fully retired. Well, not fully retired, because I was working down here as a volunteer for 3-4 years. But anyway, yeah, so it's gone from a 60-day gig to end of August and maybe to the end of December. Okay. And that may be where I draw the line.
Whichever comes first.
I do have a husband that has said to me on more than one occasion, when are you really going to retire?
Yeah.
But you know, I'm one of those, it's hard for me to sit still, so I'm usually
hopefully
out there.
Nobody ever would retire, because we so desperately need people of talent, energy, and passion and vision in our communities. Whether they're at an executive director level or not is not really the question. The question is, are you engaged? Which is why I grabbed you out of your office today.
Well, I am all for Abilene. I want to do whatever to help Abilene economically, culturally, or, you know, however.
She says whatever to help. I thought just for a minute there I thought she was going to say we're going to do whatever the hell it takes to win, and I'm all for that.
I'm good.
I am all for that.
It's got to be a win-win situation.
You know,
it really does.
So I said in a meeting this week, and people were talking about Abilene and listed some community organizations, and Great Plains Theater wasn't on there. And in the audience, I just groaned. I did. I go, we have such a battle in front of us, but such a foundation to build on. And that is, you know, people just don't think of entertainment as important. Really. We just don't in the economic world. We just don't. And we don't think of it as history. We don't think of it as Cowtown. We don't think of Eisenhower. You know, I mean, those things have their own legs to stand on. Mm-hmm. Great Plains Theater simply stands on the foundation of 20, how many years now? 24
years, and you know what, we are so excited. Next year we will be going into our 25th year. Guys, if you can believe that, that's pretty phenomenal.
Of world-class entertainment in Abilene, Kansas, with live professional theater.
And talking about theater, you know, some people not thinking it's important. What we have to think about, I think, as a community and as business people, are all the second and third order effects. You know, whether a person is coming in here to see Great Plains Theater, or they're coming to conduct some business at EagleCom, you know, those people are going to stop. They're going to buy gasoline. They're going to get drinks because it's hot outside. They're going to buy lunch. They're going to do some antique shopping. So wherever that person makes their first landing point in Abilene, Kansas, there are going to be other things, other venues and things they're going to stop to see. So it benefits us totally as a team.
So I love economics. I mean, I love it as a science. I love it because it's really a financial model of human behavior. That's what economics is in my mind. But so I've always understood that. That's kind of my thing in the world. And so when I looked at Great Plains, I've always seen that. But here's what I learned volunteering here through Elizabeth's tenure, and then after Elizabeth with you. Here's what I see when I walk in here that's different from that really came to the front of my mind, and I now believe it's the most important thing about Great Plains Theater for Abilene. It's the first impression of our community. If the first impression of our community is a trip to Great Plains Theater, people will leave thinking Abilene is a fantastic place to come. 100% will think it's a fantastic place to come. You can't buy that kind of branding. You couldn't push that out in the marketplace through our cameras and radio and all the other stuff and make that impression for $1 million a year.
One thing, if I can toot our own horn, one thing we do very well here, we have greeters. We have so many volunteers that come to greet at the front door. They open the door for our patrons. Then we have another team of volunteers that take tickets and usher them to their seats. And every single one of our volunteers is really excels at their customer service skills. They make all of our patrons feel very, very welcome.
Yeah.
Speaking of economics, since that's one of the things that you like to talk about and how we impact our communities, can I tell you a little bit about the I-70 Theater Alliance
Please do.
that we're working on? I'm sure this happened back when your beautiful wife Elizabeth was here at the helm, but a group of theater directors got together and decided to formulate what we're calling the I-70 Theater Alliance. So it's kind of just in its baby stages. But they had, I think, a couple of initial meetings last fall, and the members so far of the I-70 Theater Alliance are, I'll start from the west.
Okay.
We start with Salina Community Theater, who's headed up by Michael Spicer.
Right.
We have Great Plains Theater. We have the C.L. Hoover Opera House in Junction City, headed up by Joe and Sheila Markley. We have the Manhattan Arts Center under the direction of Penny. We have the Columbian Theater under Clint.
In Wamego.
Yes, in Wamego. We had tried to invite the Clay Center gentleman who just renovated the Rex Theater.
You'll get him. You'll get him.
Well, I think he's gone on to another position, but there's someone else at the helm there.
Right, and they're not quite open yet, so you'll get them.
Okay. I saw your Our Town episode on the Rex Theater.
yeah,
What
yeah.
great work they're doing there.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're thinking about adding 2 more members to our little coalition, probably the theater group from K-State, and gosh, I guess Rex Theater is the other one.
Okay.
So anyway, what we're developing right now, kind of a mission and vision statement for that alliance group. One of our short-term visions is to come up with some kind of passport to give to people where they can pick up or get somehow.
Oh, what a great idea.
Where they're traveling across Interstate 70.
Yeah.
And when they're vacationing, taking a weekend off or whatever to tour Kansas, we were thinking about giving them some kind of a passport or something where they can hit each one of these theaters along the way. Isn't that a terrific idea?
That's a terrific idea. I love the passport. It should be physical on paper and digital. So
yes,
for the kid in the
absolutely.
back seat on his iPhone, he needs his digital passport.
Absolutely. So it's just in the works, and I'll tell you, we have the meetings quarterly. We kind of discuss marketing ideas, how to get more people in our doors, and so it's benefiting every single one of us in this group.
I'm going to send Orlita Dobkins to talk to you. She works for Eagle Communications, and to talk about this passport idea, because she's one of those people that you put something in her brain and it is like this,
Fantastic.
right? So this is too good to miss. It's too good to miss.
Another opportunity.
And we can help you with that as a
Super.
partnership. And so here's my soapbox.
All right.
I wish every community organization in our community would make a self-imposed rule that no matter what we are going to do in an event, we are required to call at least one other organization and ask if they want to help us or participate or any other way of partnering. If you make that a rule of life for you, you'll be bigger and better than you could ever be by yourself. And we as a community, we just win, win, win. When we get partner organizations working together, it's going to be better for Abilene, better for Dickinson County, better for Kansas than it would have been alone.
Yes.
It's just a fact of life. And the sooner that we can embrace that process of partnership, your first instinct should be to ask for help or ask if you can help.
Absolutely.
One or the other.
Yeah. So that kind of tells you one of the things that we've been working on this summer. I've been here since February. It seems like we've all, I don't think there's ever a slow spell at the theater because you're always you're planning ahead and that kind of thing. But lots has been happening. We've got a really great full-scale marketing program that we've implemented this year. We have 2 new board members. We had Lorraine McLean, who did a stellar job as our last board president, had to step down because of she's now a nana. She gets to take care of the baby.
Much bigger job.
Yes. Anyway, we have John Kohoff now as our new board president.
Great young guy.
Yes, absolutely. He's a young entrepreneur. I teased him one day. I said, "You're going to be the next Warren Buffett of Dickinson County."
Yeah. Well,
so,
I think so. How about the next C.L. Hoover? Not Hoover. C.L. Brown.
C.L.
What is
Brown.
it, Dave? Dave's corrected me 5 times today, and he's always, but that's who it is,
Well,
right?
C.L. Brown got Sprint started, so
right here in Abilene,
right here in Abilene, Kansas.
There's
so
still something like over 100 companies that C.L. Brown started,
Yes.
still in business.
Yes, so who knows what John's going to
Yeah.
do. Then we have 2 new board members. We have Monty Dibbin from Junction City.
Okay.
He's a corporate accountant with Caw Valley Engineering.
Is his wife not the costume wizard
His
for
wife
Great
is the
Plains
costume
Theater?
wizard here.
Truly is a costume wizard, by the way. I don't say that
well,
lightly.
and they are tried and
Becky,
true.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
they are tried and true theater professionals. Monty has been in many shows. He likes being on the stage. And their son Nathan was one of the PGP kids.
Okay,
and
very
Nathan
cool.
is in New York now doing some theater pieces. And then, so anyway, they know theater. And Monty had served on the board back in the day. So he was back, I think, in the late 90s, early 2000s,
Okay.
and so knows theater. Then we have Rob Hammett has
very
raised his
good.
hand and decided to join our board. He's the husband of Don Hammett, who is the director at Eisenhower Presidential Library.
Rob, an accomplished business person.
Yes.
All around
So
good guy. And
we have-
pretty darn fun. It's just fun to be around. I really like Rob.
Yeah, they're a great couple. We're so glad, we're fortunate to have them in Abilene.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have some new people on our board, some new blood coming to that.
That's great, Patty.
Randy and Margaret and I are kind of looking at planning the shows for next year. We're looking, I think Randy has a short list, and I'm not going to steal his
Sure,
thunder.
sure.
But anyway, so that's one of the things we're working on. And then coming up very soon, Lion in Winter.
Lion in Winter starts this Friday. It'll be before this
does.
program's shown, but we're
So-
dead in the middle of your season.
Yes, absolutely. So Lion in Winter is our next show, and then that will be followed up by Shrek the Musical, and that is going to be so exciting.
It's going to be fun.
It is. It's a kind of a love story of the ogre.
I'm going to try to talk my daughter, Lexi, who works for you, so you might be able to tell her what to
Okay.
do. I really can't anymore. She just kind of nods Dad and
Yeah,
goes on.
yes,
But
Dad, okay.
I'm going to try to talk Lexi into doing our VMP for Shrek, because I think it would be fun. I think she has a unique perspective on these theater things,
Yes.
and Shrek is one of those things that needs explained by Lexi.
Yes.
Because she really has that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lexi's very good with our kids. And I have to share with you, some of the Shrek boot camp starts in a week. So Margaret
Right.
Claire and Randy will be working with the kids. These are for kids, I think, ages 10 through 18. So we have a lot of our PGP youth who will be engaged in the summer camp. So the first few days of next week, they're going to be doing a lot of choreography and music training with the kids. So that's what happens next week. And then the exciting thing, those kids get to be in our main stage show. I'm so excited, and they are so looking forward to this.
You know, Margaret talked about that when we did the program about summer camps and things, but I remember that conversation and what I thought about it, and it's your reaction. For me, it's affirmation of the good work that's done here, because I guarantee you, I don't care who you hired from New York City, when Shrek goes off, the star of that show will be one of our GPT kids, because it always is. When we
Yeah.
put those kids on stage in a professional production, one of them takes the show home with them every
Well,
time.
I'm sure all of our loyal, tried and true patrons remember several of our Campbell kids who have been in shows before. And Kyle Campbell and his wife have great kids, and recently they got their oldest daughter into one of our shows. She hadn't really gone into too much of the youth theater programming, but now Edith is in there with the rest of the mix. But those Campbell kids, I think we have a star amongst them,
Yeah.
you know, rising up. But they will be in the Shrek musical. We're also going to kind of showcase our talent through the Central Kansas Free Fair, which is coming up
Okay.
soon.
Right.
And as I'm sure you know, Elizabeth, being head of the Community Foundation of Dickinson County, has a float in the parade, and
right.
she is sharing that space on the float with a lot of other nonprofit agencies in town, of which the theater will be on there. So some of our Shrek kids hopefully will be in costumes.
That's terrific.
Thanks to Becky Dibbin.
Oh boy.
And on that parade float, giving out some of our some of our literature, our flyers, and some magnets that we just had.
You know, so one of the reasons that we do this show is about economic development. Probably the reason I started this show was just to make people understand that there's opportunity to live, work, and prosper here in Dickinson County, Abilene. But the thing I love about the show is that it gives an inside look into how to do this. I mean, really, there's a lot of people who want to do something that don't know how to do this, or don't know how to do this, or don't know how to do the other. I depend on people like you to sit over there and through doing it, prove it can be done, and then give some glimpses into how. So you just talked about one. The Community Foundation in Dickinson County is putting a float in.
Yes.
Today, Elizabeth is working
Are they in
on
Harrington?
For Harrington tonight.
Okay.
Right. So this is a dry run over there. But when it comes to the Central Kansas Free Fair with the GPT kids, it's that partnership we're talking about. It's that how to make things better with something other than yourself. And,
Yes.
And you two working together to do that. That's showing people that it can be done and how to do it.
Well, and I think I've said this to you several times in the past months, in the last couple of years. The partnership has really expanded and developed so well the last few years in Abilene, Kansas. And I think everyone understands one person or one business cannot do it all. We have got to team up together. You know, it takes a village to raise kids, you know, to steal the quote from, was it Hillary Clinton?
It was
that
Hillary.
Said that
We'll attribute to her, even though I didn't like it very much
Well,
at the time, but the quote itself is a terrific quote.
Anything we do, you know, whether it's raising children in our community or building businesses, it truly does take a village.
It does.
And so
does.
that's kind of what we do here and amongst the city. And also, speaking of partnership, we were graciously asked by a volunteer from over at the Heritage Center if we wanted to partake of Chisholm Trail Day Festival. So we will have some of our PGP youth over there walking about in period costumes.
Boy, I just got nervous there for a second.
You haven't been asked yet, but there's still time. There is still time, Dennis.
I thought maybe there was a redo of Marshall Dillon.
No, we're not doing. No. You won't be on stage, but we could definitely put you in period costume and have you walk about and promote the theater.
I could probably get by doing that.
Okay. All right. So, well, what else would you like to talk about this morning?
How's the theater doing?
Theater's doing well. We just recently put on Camelot, which was a revamped version of the old show, which was a very long one. It lasted 3.5 hours. This one was a new version.
It was a good show. I came the second Friday. You know why I come the second Friday?
Because of the cabaret?
Because of cabaret. You get to see the show, and then you get to stay for another 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or an hour watching great entertainment.
Yeah.
emceed by one of the best MCs I've ever
Absolutely.
seen.
She's very good at emceeing.
My goodness, yes.
She is. So just to kind of focus on two of the best nights to come to the show. You know, opening night's a good night to come because we always have some free food and people can stay around afterwards, have some adult beverages and some snacks and
talk
chit-chat.
to one another about their community and their adventure
and get to know the actors. And then the second best night probably to come is the second Friday night for the cabaret. And that way, you know, the skill set of the actors that we've seen on the stage in the early evening performance, many times they'll come back on the stage and perform other musical numbers.
So I want to tie something together for the viewers.
Okay.
So we talked a little bit about Shrek. This isn't about Shrek, but Shrek is coming up, and you look up the dates there because I'm going to ask you about it in a second.
They're right here.
But the second Friday of Shrek means there will be a cabaret that night. And you've already heard from Patty that you will have GPT kids on the stage.
Yes.
Therefore, they will be eligible to participate in the cabaret.
That is
and we've
true.
seen that happen before here, and cabaret night just gets that much better and that much bigger when we have GPT kids up there after the show's over.
Well, and you know from experience, many times we've had parents and the kids get up and do a number because Chris DeLay and Harley, Kinley did a number at one of those cabarets.
So what's Shrek's dates?
So Shrek dates, we open Friday, August 10th, and we close Sunday, August 19th.
So what's the second Friday?
The second Friday will be August 17th. So that's going to be
my birthday.
So we'll have the cabaret just for you.
Hey, that's great. That'll be my birthday party.
All right. We'll see about some, what's your favorite kind of cake?
Ice cream cake of
Ice
any
cream.
kind.
All right, we'll see what we can do about
But
that.
those cookies from West Country Mart aren't bad. But you could take a monster cookie that you provide here at Great
From
Plains Theater
Amanda's?
every show, from Amanda's, put one candle in it, and I'd be
And
the
that would
happiest
work?
kid in the park.
All right, good. You've given me a couple of solutions
All right,
here I can
okay.
help you with.
Patty Mayhew, I'm so glad I caught you in the
Oh, thank
office
you.
today. Last time I was here, you were out fundraising on behalf of Great Plains Theater.
Continuing to do that. Folks in Abilene and in this entire region need to know the importance of how important it is for nonprofits to have donors, whether they be individual donors or company and business sponsors, to help out the nonprofits, because only a small percentage of the money that comes into the theater comes from individual ticket sales.
Right.
So we are truly reliant on so many businesses in the local area. And I have to thank all of the local businesses who have served as sponsors this year.
Doesn't have to be big donation either.
It doesn't.
Bring in
It
20
doesn't.
bucks if it's important to you to see Great Plains Theater continue forward in
Folks
year
can
25.
folks can donate online. We've got a button where folks can donate online. If anyone wanted to do a monthly pledge, we certainly would be welcome to have that coming on. You can also donate through when you do your Amazon purchases and things. There are all kinds of ways.
You guys are just all uptown. Patty Mayhew, Great Plains Theater, great place, terrific lady leading the
Thank
charge
you.
here, and it's always a good time. You should come and enjoy it along with us. I'm Dennis Weiss. I work for Eagle Communications. We wish you a great day.